Chaotic, and it has changed my life. I'm a fan of his ever since. I love this collection. Of his most legendary supermodels and more. The four queens of the runway. Fashion, New York Fashion Week is right around the corner. Librarian tonight, and that's because I came to read a bitch. Jaja's Atelier, bitch. Hey y'all, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Jaja's Atelier. It's your girl. Listen, it is 4th of July weekend. I, of course, did not celebrate 4th of July because you'd think after 250 years this country would know how to treat a motherfucker, you know? But a lot of people did celebrate. A lot of people, my mom and my brother came from out of town, and we did cook a little something, but we didn't celebrate 4th of July. It was just, we're used to it, throwing something on the grill this time of year. I get it, but it won't no American red, white, and blue going on in our yard, honey. Good God, can we talk about this heat wave? If you live in the state of Virginia and you are watching right now, how are you making it? The heat, the worst of it was yesterday, which was Saturday. I'm shooting this on a Sunday night. Honey, I stayed in my room. I took all my clothes and my wig off. I laid in the bed like this with my legs wide fucking open so the air could catch my almonds and my moonji and my tits and this double chin. Honey, I had it. It was too fucking hot outside. It was hotter than a white bitch pussy at All-Star Weekend outside. I couldn't fucking take it. Jesus. But you know one thing I say. This heat doesn't seem natural. It's been 104 and 5 degrees here in Virginia before. And this heat is something different. Now, here in the state of Virginia, there's over, I believe, 37 data centers. I believe that all that electricity and all that conduction and carryings on at all these data centers, I believe that it's overheating the planet like a motherfucker. Because, it was so hot outside, you could fucking smell it. It was like, it smelled like the inside of an oven outside. I couldn't fucking believe it. Let me hit my blunt. Now, listen. If my makeup is fucked up, y'all tell me in the comments. But, bitch, don't get nasty. Because it's hot outside, and this is all that I had to give today, okay? We did it up last week, and that was pushing it with that silver top. And listen, somebody politely got in my DMs on Instagram and was like, we can see that band holding your top closed. And I was like, girl, I know. Listen, I was heading on out the door. I had some place to be. The man that I had drinks with that night, he didn't seem to care. He liked what was 5 inches below the safety pin, so he wasn't worried about it. So listen. Speaking of hot, honey, I have to give a huge congratulations to luxury Nigerian brand Orange Culture, who just debuted a magnificent, legendary collection at Berlin Fashion Week. I believe this is the second or third time that they've been. Just a quick side note. Hold on 1 second. You know it ain't no fun if Jaja can't hit her reefer. Anyway. So just a quick side note about this brand. I have been in love with this brand since I think 2017. Well, no, maybe 2018, 2019. They are actually one of the first brands that I was able to reach out and speak to and land my first written interview, if you will, of a fashion brand when I first started doing my fashion social media commentary on Instagram back in the day. You would have to scroll all the way down to see it, but I've kept in touch with them over the years. I'm a huge fan of the creative director, I always mess his name up. Let me get it together. I got this list. Abadayo Aku Lawal. I have been a huge fan of his work and the brand for a very, very long time. I've had DMs with them, sweet people over there at Orange Culture. And I thought, they have been dominating this. When I really started doing fashion commentary on social media, I was doing the Mugler, I was doing the Gucci, I was doing the Valentino, and I got a little tired of the whole European fashion market. And I was like, well, what else is out there that's made by us, that's for us? And I just so happened to come across Orange Culture Nigeria. So I've been a huge fan of them for so long. This collection is absolutely just stunning. The colors, the structure. Now, Orange Culture Nigeria is known, when I first came upon them years ago, for pushing the boundaries of what it is to dress a man, or what it is society says a man should dress. They have definitely ushered in the pushing of the gender binary norms within fashion. Mr. I ain't even gonna try to say his name again, but Orange Culture Nigeria was definitely doing it before the Harry Styles and all of them guys. So this collection is nothing short of that. There's one look that I really, really like. I couldn't find a picture of the look itself, so I'm gonna have to take a screenshot of it and go through. But this look right here with the pom-poms, I need this dress. Honey, I need this dress. I think I've only bought one piece from them. One piece. I've got to do better with buying our people's stuff. We talk about them all the time here in the Atelier, but our girl's funds is a little short right now. She's trying to build an empire, honey. Well, she is building an empire, honey. So, I got to watch my spending, but I will be getting, if that dress is affordable, I will definitely be getting that dress. Hopefully they make a 2X. Okay? But again, huge shout out to Orange Culture Nigeria. You have definitely been setting the tone. They've been around since 2011, so huge congratulations to them. I absolutely adored this collection, and you. Much love. Also, speaking of everything black now, darling. So, Vanity Fair released a very special cover story featuring who I would like to call the face of a generation of models, model of the year, in fact, Anuk Yai. So here she is right here. I'm sorry I'm a little off today, guys. It's really, really hot, so just bear with me. Anuk Yai on the cover of Vanity Fair for a very special 4th of July issue. But what really captivated me, along with these gorgeous images, before we get into the story itself, she was styled by Nicole Martini Chapatois. I don't think I'm saying that right, but forgive me, Nicole Martin. I can't pronounce the last name. And she is photographed by one of my favorites, honey, Philip Daniel Ducassi. Amazing work. These two have been in the game for a while, and you don't hear about them much, but they're amazing talents. And shot her beautifully, styled her beautifully. She's draped in nothing but the American flag. But back to what really, really captivated me was the story by, these names are hard today with this list, but I'm gonna get it down. The story was written by Jose Criales Unzuta. Jose Criales Unzuta. I think I said that right. So here's what he said, and this was posted to, this is an excerpt from the whole story, which you can find in Vanity Fair if you decide to pick it up, which you better, and, at the grocery store. So Jose says, Anuk Yai has become the fashion, oh no, that's me, honey. Here we go. So he says, like Yai, Vanity Fair's Jose writes, I'm an immigrant. Unlike her, I did not grow up in the United States, but we share an inedible part of the American experience. This country afforded us the space and opportunity to become our generation, and the opportunity to become. Our generation has a continuous relationship with Americanness and its symbols, which have been co-opted by a pocket of this country that does not always represent people like Yai or me. or those with less privilege and therefore less opportunity. A pocket that demonstrably does not want us here. But in Yai's story and in my own, as I write this today, I see the realization of the dream we were both promised. Huge congratulations, well, not congratulations, but huge shout out to Vanity Fair, because, you know, I've been saying this since we did that episode about the Obamas opening up their library in Chicago. I think it's time to light a cigarette when I get to stuttering, honey. When the Obamas opened up their library, their presidential library in Chicago, there seems to be a shift happening. There seems to be countless people opening their eyes. There seems to be publications, establishments, and certain members of governments who are not kneeling down to this foolishness that's going on in the White House with our government. And Vanity Fair, you know, without say, I didn't get a chance to read the whole story yet, mind you, but from what I've read, they're saying it without saying it. And I think certain publications can only push but so far, but I believe that they're doing more than what's been expected. I also think after watching the BET Awards last week and listening to Lauryn Hill's speech and watching her let Ice Cube, because I mean she could have picked anybody, but watching her watching Ice Cube present her with that award and then her delivering that speech about forgiveness, I also think that there is a space for certain people to be forgiven. I'm going to tell a little bit of my personal business, and this friend of mine sometimes watches the show. I'm not going to call her by name. I've talked about her here before and the anger and disappointment that I had when she made a post about, the post said, I'm quoting this verbatim, if you vote for Kamala Harris, you're what's wrong with this country. She has biracial children. Her time is spent predominantly around black people. She's a really cool person. Love her to death. We've worked together at 2 different jobs. I'm kind of giving it away now. But I recently saw her and I said, girl, I'm mad at you. And she said, you can't be mad at me. You love me. And I said, I love you, but I'm disappointed. And when I looked in her face, I couldn't really be mad at her. Because I'm learning that there are instances when sometimes people just don't know better. And people are blind to certain things when they haven't been through things related to those things. You get what I'm saying? And I haven't had a chance to sit down with her and have a conversation with her yet, but I will. But when we saw each other, we hadn't seen each other in so long. It was so much love there that I almost forgot that I was mad at her. But you know, Jaja ain't no fool. I don't forget nothing. You know, I remembered enough to bring it up. And there is space for, dare I say, MAGA forgiveness. You know what I mean? There is a space for that. So huge shout out to Vanity Fair for making this the cover story and wording it in this way. You know, I understand every business has to make its money, but there's a way to stand and protest and speak truth to power. And I thought this was perfect. So huge shout out to Vanity Fair. Huge shout out to everybody involved, and a special shout out to Anakia. You are so gorgeous. And the immigrants is the American dream. My mother is an immigrant. She moved to America. The only person that she knew living here was my oldest living aunt, who is more like a grandmother to me because my mom is the youngest of 10 and she's almost, so you could just imagine. But she married my dad and they created a legacy together. You know, we haven't lived in Jersey in years, and I'm sure if I was to go up there now, everybody would be like, oh my God, you know, I remember your dad went and your mom went, you know. The immigrant is the American dream because, contrary to popular belief, and I'm finna take it to the gutter, but you crackers ain't from here. You crackers that's crying, my country, my country, my country, this is thee, my country, it's mine, get out. Y'all not originally from here. So, alright, Taram, the immigrant is indeed and forever shall be the American dream. No matter what color, no matter what religion, no matter what gender identity, no matter who they love, the immigrant is and forever will be the American dream. Happy 4th, cracker. So moving on to perhaps the hottest hot topic of the week, which I never thought in a million years that on this show I would be defending the Miami-Dade trash herself, Caresha, aka Young Miami, the rapper. You know, with the new song of the summer, boosting bitches where y'all at, putting that shit in y'all bag, spin that shit, spin that shit. I like the song. It's catchy. Everybody's doing TikTok dances to it. Everybody's loving it. But the song is now facing some heavy backlash and calls for boycott. Even boycotting it so it doesn't become Grammy nominated. So legendary R&B divas Nikki Gilbert of the iconic group Brownstone and the legendary neo soul, one of the neo soul mid early 2000 queens, I have to bow down to India Arie, have both spoken out in reference to the song Spin That Shit, which is basically a song about stealing and boosting and scamming, which, you know, she's not the first girl to rap about that, but I'll get to that in a minute. So it all started when India Arie, please don't tell me I don't have it. Hold on, y'all. Here it is. When India Arie tweeted this: I spent my entire adult life caring way too much because I finally learned that not everybody cares with a capital C. And explaining it to them is not gonna make them care. Everything you listen to, see, or eat is going to influence you. So make wise choices, y'all. She went back and forth with a couple of people on Twitter, and it was revealed that she was indeed talking about the Spin That song by Young Miami, aka Caresha. Well, then Miss Nikki Gilbert, iconic vocalist of the legendary R&B group Brownstone, who is not always the most tactful, came out and said this. Take a look at this video.
I get it. I get the argument that, well, girl, ain't nobody really finna be out here boosting. That's you with your grown ass, who shouldn't be bopping around to that ignorant shit anyway. But to the young, impressionable young women, many of whom I know in my family personally, who have had issues with boosting and stealing and shit, who miss time with their kids, who weren't able to be present as parents because they were locked up for boosting and scamming. And now we got a record that has taken off. When I first heard it, I was like, I ain't even gonna say nothing about this shit because it's gonna go away. Ain't no way in the world this is gonna become like the #1 most popular record on the planet. And guess what's done happened? It has become the #1 of, it's debuted on Billboard at #1. People are talking about the possibility of it becoming a Grammy nominated record. I hope, as a voting member, that we have a say in whether or not that happens.
So that's just a little bit of what Nikki Gilbert said, and I didn't know that she was a voting member of the Grammys. Like, these two ladies are legendary. So I sat back all week. I watched. I was going to do a talking head video about it. But I sat back. I adjusted my wig. And I watched. And I heard all the commentary from either side. And, you know, the people that ride the fence. And after my opinion, you might call me a fence rider. As it pertains to Nikki Gilbert and India Ari, a lot of people were saying, oh, y'all old, y'all washed up, y'all just jealous, y'all just hating. Of course. I even saw Miami-Dade rapper Trick Daddy, who is a gutter snipe. Somebody said he looked like, somebody said that he looked like the brownie in the Banquet frozen dinner meals. Artie! I'm not going to show his video because one thing we're not going to do is disrespect two beautiful, talented black queens over here for no reason, for simply giving their opinion. I saw the producers of the song Spend That put Miami's lyrics over India Ari's most iconic debut single video. I'm not the average girl from your video. My worth is not determined by the price of my clothes. Hey! And were, you know, trolling her on the internet. I'm not going to play any of that because it was totally unnecessary and unwarranted. But India Ari and Nikki Gilbert, what I will say in reference to you is, in my opinion, both of these women came up in the music industry at a time when you had to have real talent. It didn't matter how many, there was no social media to worry about how many followers you had. There was no, you know, throwing tables, talking about getting peed on, you know, talking about fucking all the time. You know, you were going to be put in a certain box. Especially when it came to you being a black woman and being an R&B singer back then. Listen, Beyonce didn't really get real foul out the mouth on her records until maybe about record number 4 or 5. Beyonce's most controversial song I've ever heard was Partition Place. And that was on the Drunken Love album. And that was way long down. She was already Beyonce by the time that had happened. So think about that. And these ladies, I'm sure in their career have had to shuck and jive and compromise what they really wanted to say in their music at times, or have not and have paid the price for it later on down the line. Like India Ari, I believe, has. Because there's no reason why India Ari isn't eons past where she is. And that's no shade. That's just being honest. And Nikki Gilbert also. I think when it comes to India Ari by herself, I think she didn't come up. She speaks against everything that Young Miami stands for. The song I just referenced, Video, speaks against everything Young Miami stands for. So, and what she said is valid. But, and then when you talk about Nikki Gilbert by herself, you light another cigarette, Nikki, because I'm coming for you, girl. I do think there's a little sense of bitterness there because of the point I previously made, which is you couldn't be doing all of that and come as far as she did in her career, which, when we're talking about it, compared to now, it's not that far. And I'm not being shady. I'm being real. So I do think on Nikki Gilbert's behalf, I do definitely think that there's a little bit of like, girl, ain't no way, honey, I used to have to run down the street in heels at 4 o'clock in the morning and sing at the same time. Ain't no way some internet bitch from Miami who's talking about scamming and throwing her pussy to the wolves is finna win no Grammy and bitch, not on my watch. I definitely feel a little bit of that coming from Nikki Gilbert. I also feel like Nikki Gilbert, I love you. I feel like Nikki Gilbert was definitely looking for a moment. But And I'm not being disrespectful to either one of these women. But when we're talking about music, today's industry ain't the industry that y'all came up in. And y'all know this. All the music today is very monotonous. Especially when we're talking about hip hop. Another point I would like to make is, honey, India Ari, Nikki Gilbert, y'all lived through Uchiwali. I used to be scared of the dick. Now I throw lips to the shit. Handle it like a real bitch. Heather Hunter, Jenna Jack me, take it in the bud. You know what I'm saying? But the point I think that both of them are trying to make is, yeah, we had Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown, but we also had Queen Latifah. UNITY. We also knew that, again, that Lauryn Hill Miseducation album. We knew that album cover to cover as much as we knew the notorious K.I.M. As much as we knew Foxy Brown, Il Nana. We also knew that Erykah Badu album cover to cover like we knew Il Nana and Trina, I'm the Baddest Bitch. There was a spectrum. And everything had its place and everything had its time and everything was appreciated for what it was. But their point is, we need more diversity, and we do. I mean, even when you listen to Summer Walker, who is essentially she's an R&B singer, you know what I mean? It's about pretty much the same shit. You know what I'm saying? She got some deep songs, but she's still talking about popping that pussy for the right wallet, honey. And hey, it's a place for that. I remember back in the 80s, it was Millie Jackson. Fuck you. Fuck you. Millie Jackson used to walk. I remember seeing a Apollo performance of Millie Jackson going into the audience and grabbing men's dicks as they're sitting there watching her sing. Fuck you. She was on the toilet with her panties down on her album cover. Filthy music goes all the way back to the Harlem Renaissance days and probably before that. But there was balance. There's no balance. Also, in regards to Young Miami, let that girl make her money. Everybody likes the song. I think for the older women, the aunties, no disrespect, that feel away, I think go out and find artists. Platform them. Y'all go back out on tour. Everybody from back in the day is out on tour. It's no reason why India Ari isn't performing at the Essence Festival right now, which looks like a time. I might try to go next year. I would love to go. No reason why Nikki Gilbert and Brownstone. I just saw a video of them performing, a couple months ago. And they all look amazing. They all sound the same. You all have to get back out there and remind the people of what we're missing, the balance that we're missing. Bring those young artists that you know. I talked about the girl Kirby. What America? You want your freedom, pay their teachers like they sent us. Take her out on tour. She needs more light shined on her. There are artists out there who are giving us the balance. We got FKA Twigs. There's a young man, oh gosh, I can't even think of his name right now. Oh, I'm so sorry, baby. But he's got a new song out, a queer black artist in LA, on the come up, trying to make it. He's got a brand new song out called Friends with Benefits. Be cool, my darling. Okay? Bring it to the forefront. You gotta fight the machine. But another thing that I noticed, black men, the demographic of black men that everybody's saying, hey, we need y'all to, protect our women a little bit more. I ain't not now one of y'all defend their black woman the way y'all coming out defending Young Miami. Let's talk about it. I don't see none of y'all defending Michelle Obama the way y'all been defending Young Miami. And, defending her being so disrespectful to the other two women that gave their opinion. And it's almost like y'all like to see black women Hello? Are we on the air? Can you hear me? I'm calling you. Pick up your phone. I was like, damn, that white man just sat on the White House front lawn in a pair of panties and said Michelle Obama was a man, and I didn't hear a peep out of some of y'all niggas. But oh, Young Miami gets called out for her song being distasteful, and oh, now y'all jumping up? It just goes to show the caliber of women that you're willing to protect. Because let's not get it clear. Although I think Young Miami is having a moment right now that she can catapult into something brand new and really make her mark. If she plays this right, don't get it fucked up. You're still the girl that wrote a pardon for an abuser. You're still the girl that talked about getting pissed on openly. Whether he did it or not, you talked about it. There's not a whole lot of substance there, Carisha. And I did some digging. Carisha had a song, I forgot what the name of it was, where she was talking about her upbringing, and she was talking about, the struggles that she faced coming up in the rap game, which I thought, the bars needed a little bit of work, but I thought, okay, she's telling her story. Okay, she's not a bad person, I don't believe. Listen, I'm a trans woman. I have a right to change my mind. She's not a bad person, I believe. But I do believe that, she is where she comes from. And there are people like that, and they deserve to be heard. But we still remember all the fuckery. The fuckery is still fuckery. Okay? But I'm happy for her. I'm not a hater. And I wish her well. She's not my cup of tea per se, but if she was to walk in the room right now, I would stand up and say, congratulations on everything. You look beautiful. Keep going. Because I would want somebody to do that for me. God. Who thought that I would be defending Young Miami? Well, we talked about that enough. Shout out to all three ladies. Everybody deserves to have their opinion. And listen, maybe there's room for an India Aubrey, Young Miami collab in the near future. Don't let these men put y'all against each other, sister against sister. Y'all go ahead and show these men what's up and do a song together. And Young Miami, tone it down a little bit. Move on from the scamming and the fucking and the all that. Show us your substance. So, before I go, if you ever wanted to know what it looked like in real time for motherfuckers to be threatened and worried about a group of motherfuckers who ain't worried about them, take a look at this. Hold on.
For the victory of the American spirit! Life, liberty, victory! Life, liberty, victory! Life, liberty, victory! Life, liberty, victory!
So that's enough of that. So, I don't know if you read it at the top, but masked men gathered in D.C. with some holding Confederate flags, reportedly for taking back the country and removing immigrants. So earlier this week, I didn't get a chance to talk about it because I was busy at work, but the Supreme Court did not end birthright citizenship in this country, which I will talk about in a video by itself. And sidebar, Clarence Thomas, you are one evil son of a black bitch. And you enjoy being evil. But again, I'll talk about that later on this week in another video by itself. But, bitch, it was 1,000 fucking degrees outside. And you fools, you red belly cave monkey, motherfucking snow roach fools, went out there in 1,000-degree heat in D.C., in the center of the heat, proclaiming something, and nobody is coming. What? There is a picture of a young black woman on the DC Metro, honey. And all of these men are surrounding her. And people were like, oh, she looks frightened. She looks afraid. That girl don't look frightened or afraid. She's looking at them like, is you crackers crazy? Ain't nobody worried about you white people. Your aggression is so unnecessary and it's so misplaced. You are torturing yourself for something and for somebodies that really don't give a fuck about you for real. The extent that you all go to make a point that nobody gives a fuck about will forever, ever be unbeknownst to me. Look at this girl. She's looking at them like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Get out the way. It's too hot. Ugh. She's not scared or frightened. She's looking at how ridiculous they fucking look. Girl, bye. Anyway, I will be back. Tomorrow is the beginning of Haute Couture Week in Paris, which I decided I'm going to indulge and I'm going to cover. And I'm going to take the politics out of it as much as I can. Because I need a little inspiration. My juices are flowing. And so I will be back in a week after Paris Haute Couture Week because I'm going to have a full rundown. Also expect that video of me talking about what the Supreme Court has done and me cussing out Clarence motherfucking puss-ass cunt mouth Thomas. Anyway, love you. Ciao.